All right, welcome to Cohn and Kruger on a Monday. Hope you guys are having a great Monday, a better Monday than Nick Bosa. Well, let's get it rolling right here. A lot to get to. Kyle just spoke. We'll get into it. Off and running on the Krug Show meets the Cohn Zone on a Monday. It seems like a Friday. It's been that long of a day. But welcome. Hope you guys are having a good one. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle on my end. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. Also, we're brought to you by Sleeper. Big thanks to Sleeper. Loving Sleeper. Grant, last time we got together on this show, we put together a sleeper lineup. We were winners. So
that's right.
That's right. We'll put together another sleeper lineup today before we get out of here. Big thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. And, of course, Habbas Law as well, and we'll get to them. The story of the day is Kyle Shanahan just spoke, and about a half hour ago, though I found a hard time getting into the room, believe it or not. But it's amazing how those things work. Mac Jones, knee injury, day-to-day. Mikael Williams, day-to-day, with a wrist injury. Bernardo Green with an injury, a neck injury, I believe, day-to-day. Nick Bosa, done for the year. Juwan Jennings, ankle and shoulder, day-to-day. Brock Purdy, toe, is expected to practice this week. CJ West, basically, if you didn't think, but wait, there's more. CJ West broke his thumb. Surgery scheduled probably for tomorrow, but it's possible that the big rookie from Indiana, CJ West, might play with a cast on. Grant, what was your takeaway from the news of the day at Shanahan's presser?
Sobering, right? I mean, this team is undefeated. You're thinking, man, this team could contend for the number one seed. And it's all of a sudden, it's like, no. Like, this is the team that can't go a week without having 5 guys get injured, and they're key players. So will they go out and get another defensive end? We'll talk about it. Are they buyers? Do they believe in this team that much? Kyle was asked about it, and he was like, it's really got to make sense. I mean, they went and got Bryce Huff. Can they do another move like that with a guy who's relatively affordable? But like, I don't think it's going to affect them too much. Like, they don't have Nick Bosa. So are they going to lose to the Jaguars? I don't know about that. I think it's would be more like against the Rams, the Bucks, in the playoffs, those type. But fortunately for the Niners, they're not facing many great passing attacks this year.
Well, and it's hard to say, I think you kind of hit on one theme I think is kind of interesting. It's like, how do they see themselves?
Yeah.
Because like they didn't spend a lot of money. This was a team that was going to be rolling over a lot of money into next year for cap purposes. And, they didn't go about this offseason like, we are going to sign every possible veteran. They're going young. They're kind of in a rebuild, but now they've got a glimpse at it. The defense looks pretty good. I don't know if it's great, but it's pretty good. Your backup quarterback can play. You maybe have a couple quarterbacks you can win with. Ricky Pearsall's coming of age. There's some good things. But I wonder how I really would love to know how John and Kyle viewed this season, honestly, before it started and how they view it right now. What would be your best guess on that?
I don't think they expected to be 3-0 right now. They were talking about lumps. I think they were really nervous. They were trading for Brian Robinson Jr. frantically 2 weeks before the draft, thinking maybe Christian McCaffrey wouldn't be out there. If you had told them before the season, look, Brock's going to get hurt week 1, Kittle's going to get hurt week 1, Bosa's going to get hurt week 3, out for the season, you're going to start the season 3-0, and your defense is going to be ranked 3rd in points allowed and 4th in yards allowed. I'd be like, no, of course not. So they're in an interesting spot. Like, are they going to fall apart? Are the wheels falling off? Maybe. Or is it just that, like, certain older players are going down and a new young core is emerging, like that's led by Ricky Pearsall and Mikael Williams and D. Winters and Fred Warner. Like, there's a team here still. It just may not include certain very highly paid players.
It's weird because it's like they have some of the NFL's best players, And you would think that they would look at this year as like a, go for it type year, because they do have Trent Williams in his prime, and they do have Bosa and Kittle and CMC and Warner. And you can make an argument all of these guys will be worse next year than this year. So in a way, you could say they should be kind of in go for it mode, but then they may want to pause as far as how aggressively they go for it, because what if all these rookies that they're leaning on fall on their faces? And what if it's more of a rebuild? But now they're 3-0. And I think now we've seen, especially in this last game, almost all of their rookies, except for Nick Martin, who wasn't active, almost all of the guys that were active played well. Mikell played incredibly well. He looked like maybe their best defensive player. He
Bryce Huff played great.
Bryce Huff is an amazing addition for sure. So now they're like, are they in between? Are they in a go for it mode? There's three ways. Let's replace Bosa. There's three ways you can do it. You can do it through free agency. You can do it through trades, or you can try to pluck people off other teams' practice squads. I'm looking at the free agent market. I'll throw you the 5 names that I saw, and none of them really are all that exciting to me. Carl Lawson, John Kaminsky, Shaq Barrett, Jerry Hughes, who's 37, DeMarcus Walker. Those are listed as the 5 best free agents. Are you any of those guys intrigue you?
No. Yeah. I was thinking trade with the Giants. Like if they tank, they have a bunch of edge rushers, and Kayvon Thibodeau could be like this year's Chase Young, hopefully better, but a guy sort of at the end of his rookie deal who'd be a bit of a rental, who wouldn't be too expensive. Maybe you'd pay for half of his season, and you could think about extending him next year or not. Someone like that. But you have to see where you're at the trade deadline. That wouldn't happen anytime soon.
I was talking to Greg Papa on his show today, and he was like, he threw out Trey Hendrickson. And, that's a great name, of course. Hendrickson, you could make an argument on some level that based on the last couple of years, that Trey Hendrickson is an upgrade from Nick Bosa based on what he's done the last couple of years, 35 sacks. I just get the sense, and maybe I'm wrong, but I get the sense that if they do make a trade, it's going to be kind of a middle of the tier kind of a trade, and not a Brian Burns, Trey Hendrickson, elite edge rusher type of a move. I think it's going to be I'm not saying it's going to be Jordan Willis or Charles Omenihu, but I think it's going to be closer to Jordan Willis, Charles Omenihu than it is to Trey Hendrickson. Though I would love Hendrickson, but Coach Yak had a phantom or an idea. It's like, who wouldn't do this trade? Trey Hendrickson for a 3rd and a 4th. I'll say who wouldn't. The Bengals. The Bengals wouldn't do that trade. But people
also, I get the sense that the Yorks don't really want to spend a lot more money. They spent a lot of money on soccer teams and Levi's stadium renovations and Brock Purdy and Kittle and Warner. I think they're kind of done, and they'll add here and there. But Trey Hendrickson would be another Nick Bosa contract, if not more. I just can't see them putting that cash in escrow right now. They'd have to sell more of their team to do something like that. I'm with you on that. But I do think it's interesting. Like, okay, so they won't have Bosa. With Bosa, they could have potentially had like a top 5 defense. They already have the number 3 defense in the league with Bosa. Without Bosa, they still could have a good defense. I don't think people think they're going to have a bad defense. They're going to struggle to rush the passer, but they can manufacture a pass rush. That's what Upton Stout's here for. That's what Robert Saleh's here for. So if you have a good defense, not a great defense, well, you should be able to still win a lot of games considering how invested they are in their offense and how their quarterback's really good and their backup quarterback's really good and their head coach is an offensive guy. This isn't necessarily the death of the season.
I agree. That was another question they asked me today. They were like, hey, is the season over? I'm like, no. Season's not over. You lost a great player. There's no doubt about that. And as you said, you're going to have to scheme up some rush. Some guys are going to have to step up. You're going to have to make a move. And now, if you take away the Trey Hendrickson, because that's just the slam dunk. It's like, my car broke down. Oh, go buy a Bentley. Mm-hmm. Oh, why didn't I think of that?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go buy a Bentley. Pay cash for it. There are other names out there that are lesser names. I'll throw them to you. I'll throw you the list. There's like 10 names, and tell me if any of these names intrigue you. Okay. Carl Granderson of the Saints.
I liked him the other day again when he played the Niners. I thought he made an impact in that game. He'd probably be in their price range. I'd be interested.
Yeah,
Better
I'd
than
be
nothing.
interested.
Better than Robert Beal.
I think he's exactly. Well, their in-house candidates are Robert Beal Jr. and Travis Gibson. I don't mind
Yeah.
Gibson, but I don't think much of Beal. I think Beal's proven that he's can't really do it yet. Or I don't know yet. I'm saying yet, but I don't know, he may
Yeah.
not be able to do it. Period. Um, there's Cam Jordan from the Saints. Does that intrigue you?
Cam Jordan's interesting because
Cal
he's
guy.
he went to Cal. But if he were to be on this team, would he rush from the, I think he played the end, but is he really an edge rusher or on third down? Is he more of a defensive tackle? Is he more of like what Mykel Williams already is? And Yatir, because they already have two guys like that, Yatir Gross Matos and Mykel Williams. That's my only question with him. But he's a good player for sure.
I think you just hit on a name there that is the solution internally. It's Yatir Gross Matos. Yatir Gross Matos has been almost exclusively a defensive tackle the last few weeks. I think he moves out to end, and they're deeper at tackle, or at least they were until West went down. And I think maybe Sebastian Valdez gets called up or something like that. But I could see them putting Yatir Gross Matos in Bosa's spot and just saying, let's go.
What about this, though? What if they do that with Mykel Williams? What if they say, look, Mykel, you're doing well on the inside, but now we need you on the outside. Let's focus you playing some wide nine, and you can develop that. I mean, he's not going to get 10 sacks playing on the edge, but he can still be a good player. He can still get pressure. And with Bryce Huff on the other edge and, Kalia Davis and Sebastian Valdez in the middle, like they could find some pocket push. But edge rush is going to be tough. Maybe put your first-round pick out there.
Yeah, no, I mean it makes perfect sense. Maybe play guys like Sam O inside, or
yeah.
And then there's other names. I mean, you mentioned Kayvon Thibodeau. The Giants also have Brian Burns. Some of the other names that are out there that are lesser names. Thomas Incoom from Carolina had a really good preseason rusher. Western Michigan. Arden Key, who was here before. That's a name I could see. Trayvon Walker of Jacksonville. Jalen Phillips of the Dolphins.
Jalen Phillips.
I think that one makes a lot of sense. I mean,
he's been injured, but he's a good player.
He's had injuries going back to UCLA, hasn't he? I mean, he's been hurt quite a bit, but when he's healthy, and he's healthy now, I mean, he is a real force. The Jets have Will McDonald and Michael Clemens. I could see Robert Saleh.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because the Jets are the Niners farm system. They've brought over 17 Jets in the last year.
Right.
Robert Saleh drafted Will McDonald. Maybe Will McDonald.
Will McDonald would be a nice one.
Maybe Will McDonald.
Unbelievable speed rusher. I mean, he's smaller. The Niners like the bigger guys, but I mean, he can rush the passer.
They're looking, I mean, you could have Mykel on the edge and then move him inside and then bring in Will McDonald and have him and Bryce Huff on the edge. That'd be kind of nice. That's what they had in New York.
Couple more. Darrell Taylor is in Houston. Houston's season looks trashed. Derek Barnett, who was with Philly. He's a veteran. He's in Houston. He seems like he'd be very cheap. Joseph Osai in Cincinnati. Bengals look pretty bad without Burrow. Maybe Osai, who went to Texas, 260-pound edge rusher, kind of that middle price. Like you could get Joseph Osai probably for a 5th or 6th round pick. And that seems kind of like what Lynch wants to pay. So that's a name. And then the bottom line is there's the other ones are the guys that are free. And that's the practice squad group. And let me give you some of these names, Grant, because these names are really interesting. Cleveland Farrell. What do you think of Cleveland Farrell coming back? Now, he wasn't much of a pass rusher. Then he went to Washington, had a marginal year. He's on Harbaugh's practice squad with the Chargers. He's only 28. He's not ancient. He's good against the run. I mean, if you just want to run, a run defender, he's a pretty decent run defender.
He's again another like Yatir Gross Matos type, where as a pass rusher, he's really better in the interior. And I think what the Niners are looking for here is just an edge rusher, not even an edge setter. You got that. Sam O, Mykel Will, you got edge setters. What you need is another Bryce Huff. And I wonder if they can go. I don't know if they're going to get Will McDonald. He's a really good player. The Jets might want him. He has 2 sacks in 3 games. He had 10.5 sacks last year. But if they could just find a smaller one-trick pony who could play on passing downs, that would really help. And like we learned with Bryce Huff, those guys aren't necessarily super expensive all the time.
The guy that I think I would go for, and I tweeted about this about a half hour ago, is Muhammad Kamara. And Muhammad Kamara went to Colorado State. He's a little bit shorter. He's 6'1", he's 260. He comes firing off the edge. He was on, I think, the Dolphins practice squad. Tampa picked him off, put him on their practice squad. He's like you said, he's a phenomenal edge rusher. I mean, he's a little bit undersized compared to Bosa. He's not 270, 275, but he's more like 255. But Muhammad Kamara, he's a lot like Bryce Huff. He's an edge rusher who can come firing off the edge and at least heat up the, make the tackles spread out. I think the one thing that's kind of nice is that Bosa and Huff have shown that if you do have two edges, then Mikel and Yatir Gross-Matos have tons of room inside. And if those guys have tons of room, they're going to win.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see like what Sam O can do, because if he can like provide pressure off the edge and contain the quarterback, then you got Huff on the other edge, and he's a killer. He's so good rushing the quarterback from the edge. And Mikel is a load. I mean, it doesn't have to be a terrible D line. They're not going to get a ton of pressure with 4. They're not. But Bryce Huff wins like 25, 30% of the time on his own. And if you can like get creative with the pressures on third down, it can work. Robert Saleh's good. I still think it's going to be an upper tier defense. It won't be what the Seahawks have.
So let's move off of Bosa for a minute, because the game was about more than just Bosa. What did you think of Mac Jones?
I was very impressed with Mac Jones in the sense that no Kittle, no Ayuk, only weapons really were McCaffrey, who's not the same, and Ricky. He threw the ball 41 times and won. I mean, that's hard. He threw the ball 80 times in 2 starts and only threw 1 pick. That's hard. I mean, he doesn't have a ton of experience in the system, but he's a great fit for it. He's got a hell of an arm. He throws with anticipation. Everything you'd want from a backup quarterback. And I think they're going to need him again. I mean, look at how many quarterbacks have gotten hurt so far this year. Tanner Mordecai in preseason, Carter Bradley in preseason, Brock Purdy the first start, Mac Jones the second start, and in preseason. Until they take the offensive line a little more serious, they need as many of these quarterbacks as possible. It's good to know that they can keep finding them, though. Just that certain pocket passer style. Guy was a first-round pick, Sam Darnold, Mac Jones. You can keep finding these guys at bad teams with bad coordinators ruined, and then Kyle can put them in his system and get the most out of them.
Watching yesterday made me really think, what would have happened if the Niners had just taken Mac Jones? Where would they be right now? Where would he be right now? Where would he be within their system? Because he seems like a glove to hand fit in this system. That the Ricky Pearsall 4th and 2 pass, you got to be kidding me.
It was a dive.
That was the greatest Joe Montana dime of all time. I mean, you know what I mean?
It took a lot of courage to throw that. He threw it with no hesitation, and it was perfect.
Just an unbelievably
really nice. I mean, we don't know how good he can be in this system. We don't know how good he can be when he's playing with George Kittle. We haven't seen it yet. And we've seen it with Brock. I don't mean to compare them because it's no point. I'm not trying to start like a divide.
Jones, Purdy,
we've seen it with Brock, and it's really good. We don't know what it's going to look like with Mac. It could look even better. It could look way worse. But so far, with like the B team, it looks surprisingly good, I think.
Shocking.
He's the highest graded player on offense on PFF this week.
I saw that. I was just about to say that. Mac Jones got PFF's highest grade, 80.7. 80.7. He completed 66% on 41 attempts. I mean, that's the other thing, Grant. Teams are loading the box on the Niners saying, we don't believe in your quarterbacks.
Yep.
You're going to have to throw. You don't have your weapons. We don't believe in your line. We don't believe in your quarterbacks. We're going to take away McCaffrey, load up the box, and make you throw it. And they've burned them. 39 pass attempts and 41 pass attempts. And as you said, 1 interception in 2 games, 284 yards passing this week and a touchdown.
And that final drive was nice. Now, so was Purdy's, right? So was Purdy's. He had that beautiful long throw and then rolling out of the pocket, looked like Joe Montana throwing to Dwight Clark. But this was interesting because he completed a pass to Sky Moore. He completed 2 passes to Kendrick Bourne. He completed a pass to Jake Tonjes. He did not complete a pass to Ricky Pearsall. Like, it was a very impressive no huddle, hurry up drive from a guy that you don't really think is competent. It's like, oh no, he's extremely confident and he's in his element right now. I mean, Kyle trusts him. He lets him run these no huddle. He calls 41 passes for him. It's kind of remarkable.
You know what's happening here is the legend of Kyle Shanahan's growing, because the Northeast is where the media markets are. That's where Boston, New York is. That's where ESPN is. And they've decided long ago that Mac Jones was crap.
Right.
And so if Mac Jones goes from crap in New England to backing up Trevor Lawrence and being kind of crap in Jacksonville, and then suddenly shows up and starts winning games consistently with the 49ers and playing high caliber football, their conclusion cannot be, well, we were wrong about Mac. Their conclusion is it's all Kyle. It's right. Shanahan is a god.
Right. And there was a narrative really since the Trey Lance debacle that Brock Purdy saved Kyle Shanahan's job. And if it wasn't for the Niners stumbling upon Brock Purdy with the final pick, that Kyle would be out of here. And as much as I've campaigned for him to get fired throughout the years, I feel like Sam Darnold existed, he would have probably had success and he probably wouldn't have got fired. And I think it means a lot for Kyle to show the world like, hey, I kind of helped Brock. I'm kind of I'm a good coach. I'm helping Mac. Yeah, I messed up with Trey. I did, but I've helped a lot of quarterbacks and I'm doing it again.
It's amazing. It truly is amazing. And by the way, Mac Jones, 7 of 9 on play action pass attempts for 63 yards and a touchdown. The Niners called play action on just 10.5% of his dropbacks, but increased it to 29.2% in the second half. Without play action, he was good, but not as good. 20 of 32 for 221 in an interception.
What'd you think of the interception?
Well, I mean,
Mac's answer was interesting. He was like, I don't regret that throw. I was proud of that throw. I ripped it. I wouldn't take it back. I've never heard a quarterback say he wouldn't take back an interception. And after watching the film, I think I know what he's talking about. And I'm not sure if I agree, but I think I know why he said that.
Why do you think?
He threw it with anticipation. He trusted Ricky. Ricky hadn't made his break yet. He fired it in. It was zone, and Ricky was going from, he's going to be in a void, and he needed to cross the face of a safety, make the catch, and get hit. And I think from Mac's perspective, 1, Ricky didn't expect to get the ball coming out of his break, and 2, he didn't really fight for it. So it's like, hey, man, I trusted you. Like, I guess I won't trust you on that particular route in that situation against that coverage in the future. Like, maybe I'll throw you passes along the sideline when you're one-on-one. I think that was Mac's perspective. He didn't say it. He wouldn't throw him under the bus like that. But when I watched all 22, I felt like Ricky was not expecting to get the ball, which is too bad because where else is he going to throw, man? Where he's going to you?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing about Jones at times looks really comfortable, and then at other times he seems very limited in this offense. And sometimes it's hard to say
when he has to move his feet and get out of rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a 3rd and 5 from the 36. And I'll say this, Dadrian Demerson's a pretty good player. There's no question about that. He's got good break on the ball. I'll say that I wasn't as upset about that play as I didn't like the 4th and 1 from the goal line with the clock ticking down and you pass. I mean, to me, the biggest issue of this game to me, I mean, obviously losing Bosa, but the Niners on the goal line are still old school, where the rest of the contenders are kind of more analytic driven. So like the Niners get to 3rd and goal from the 1. The Eagles are thinking, we'll pass here because we'll push it on 4th and goal on the 1. The Niners are like, we're going to run it on 3rd and goal on the 1. And then we're going to try to fool people on 4th and goal on the 1. And the clock was ticking down, and I'm yelling, they only had, it was literally, I think it might have been a delay of game, but they got away with it. And Shanahan was looking for the timeout, and then you have a pass play where you don't get it called, you don't get it off until the last second. And then, I mean, I hate the pass play on 4th and 1 from the 1. I mean, it just sounds like, I mean, and if you have a great back and your Brendel's supposedly great, Then if Brendel's great and CMC's great, then why can't you score on 4th and 1 from the 1 at home? I don't get that.
I didn't like Kyle's play calling in this game. I mean, not to nitpick, he won, but I felt like on offense, he just kept calling plays for Christian and Ricky. Like, that's all he did. And he called way too many plays for Christian. And then on the final drive, the way I perceived it was maybe Kyle would call a play, or like you could see Mac Jones doing it. He would throw up a 4, throw up a 5. He'd tell everyone what the concept was. And then he would decide where to go with the ball. It wasn't like Kyle being like, okay, this is designed to get the ball to Christian, or this is designed to get the ball to Ricky. He's like, boom, Tonjes, boom, Kendrick. It's like, no, I like that. Don't let Kyle control you, man, because he will. I thought it was cool. And we don't see quarterbacks do that very much around here. I liked it.
What'd you think of some of the how the thing was divvied up between who got the ball and that kind of thing, as far as the touches, running back wise? I don't understand what
are they doing with Christian,
with Brian Robinson. I mean, is Brian Robinson part of the plan? Seems like he's just a few weeks away from getting pissed off.
What was the point? They talked all offseason about trying to manage Christian a little bit better, considering the year he had last year and his age. Then you trade for Brian Robinson because Garendo wasn't getting it done. They liked Garendo last year, but he fumbled a few times in practice, and now they don't give him the ball ever again. You trade for Brian Robinson to not play him. I don't understand. Christian's on pace for like 470 touches this year. Like, that can't
continue.
Can't continue. So I don't know. If he gets hurt, the season's kind of over. Although right now he's not doing, I don't know how I feel about Christian right now. I feel like he's more of a receiver than a runner. As a runner, he's not breaking tackles or making people miss. And not only not making people miss, he's getting tagged, Larry. He's getting smacked and driven backward a lot. It's kind of hard to watch sometimes. It's like, ow.
Somebody asked him if he liked it.
Like, no. No, I don't like getting hit.
No running backs like getting hit.
Jerry McDonald asked it. He's like, do you kind of like that in a perverse way, getting hit and popping back up? He's like, no, I really don't want to get hit. Yeah.
Yeah, the wide receiver breakdown was this. Pearsall had 63 plays. Bourne had 47. Sky Moore had 34. MVS was 17. Malik Turner with 1.
Dude, those last 3 were just running around doing nothing. What is the point of putting them on the field? Kendrick Bourne actually played well. Shout out to Kendrick Bourne. He played well. They don't win without Kendrick Bourne yesterday. He was clutch. He was more clutch. He was as clutch as Ricky. I don't want to take that away from Ricky because he had 4th and 2.
What do you think of
Kendrick? Had 2 catches on that final drive.
I mean, is Ricky, when Ricky was drafted, he was drafted around a bunch of other receivers. McConkey had the better rookie year. But there were a bunch of guys there that were all drafted right in that same area. And, Ricky struggled his rookie year for obvious reasons. Then he had the 2 great late games, and we kind of wondered which is the real Ricky. And I think the optimists were like, hey, the guy we saw at the last 2 games is the real Ricky. And sure enough, those people are right. Ricky caught 8 passes for 117 yesterday, all of which came with 3 yards of separation or less. So he's not getting tons of separation, but he is making a lot of catches. He had over 33% of the Niners yards receiving this season, 10th highest share in the NFL.
I called him the white Odell Beckham Jr. before the season started. I think he's really good. Now, I don't know if I would trust him over the middle, running, in front of safeties, extending to make contested catches where he gets hit. I don't know if he's that physical yet. That's where I'd want to throw to Jawan Jennings or DeMarcus Robinson. But no one else has the skill set that he has on this team. They sorely need it. He's really taken the Brandon Ayuk role, like the downfield threat, but he's way faster than Brandon Ayuk. And nothing against Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk's probably a better all-around player than Ricky Pearsall at this point, but I'm not used to seeing a guy this big, this fast, this fluid. He's fun to watch.
He's really got a kind of a kid's perspective on the whole thing too. He's very loose. He's very happy. He's just like, hey, man. I asked him, I said, did you feel any pressure before the game? You look around, there's no Debo, there's no JJ, there's no Ayuk. It's just you. And guys that, have been around for literally weeks. And he's like, no, just like, I thought to myself, hey, I might get a lot of targets. I mean, that'd be nice. That's a great way to think if you were him. Man,
he's on my fantasy team. I'm loving it.
How about Mac Jones, Mac Jones strikes me as kind of like a Chris Furster type. He's like a truth teller. And at one point, Mac Jones said, yeah, this guy, talking about Ricky, he's like, he might be one of the quickest in and out of the break guy I've ever played with or ever seen.
I really like Mac. The way he talks about his craft and his teammates. Someone in your chat about 5 minutes ago said, Kyle is a narcissistic coach. He never takes accountability for his mistakes. And I understand why people feel that way about him sometimes, but what I want to point out is after these last 2 games, Mac turned it over once in New Orleans. It was a fumble, and he threw the 1 pick here. When asked about it, Kyle Shanahan both times said the play was bad. I've never heard him say that. Ever. Mac Jones brings out the best in Kyle Shanahan, man. He brings out the best in him as a person, as a head coach, as a leader. It's incredible. My jaw was on the freaking what did you just say? The play wasn't good. You never Jimmy Garoppolo was somewhere being like, hey, man, how about you never said that for me.
His plays suck.
Yeah. Play wasn't good.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's
growth.
That you don't see a lot of that, but Kyle, that was honesty from Kyle too. That was definitely honesty. It does.
Everyone likes Mac Jones. He's kind of nerdy.
Yeah, there's something about Mac Jones that is a perfect fit here, though. It's like he's just good enough to help them win. He's just limited enough to not really threaten Brock's position on the job. So
Kyle, like everything Mac does is a reflection of Kyle's system.
Right. I mean, if he plays well, Kyle looks great. So it's like it really does. And then you know what I thought was a great answer from Mac was when I asked him. I said, "Hey, what did you get out of Purdy this week as far as preparation?" And you could tell the way he gave. He's like, oh yeah, he spoke up all week. Every time there was something, he's like, well, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do there? Brock wants to have answers where I think other quarterbacks would like to have answers. Brock's like, we're not moving on until we have an answer to this, what this defense is giving us. And I think that's probably good preparation for some of these guys like Darnold and Jones who maybe haven't prepped like that in the past. I think Brock's prep has been good for Darnold, and I think it's probably good for Jones.
I think it's a great point, and I think people don't really think about that very much. What was Colin Kaepernick's best season? It was his first season starting. Who was his backup helping him prepare? Alex Smith.
Right.
That's
and
nice.
Alex Smith, Alex Smith. Alex Smith was a giver. So Alex Smith was he pissed that Cap took his job? Sure. Was he pissed at Harbaugh? Sure. But guess what? He was such a pro and such a good dude that he was literally going to take everything he had in his brain and try to give it to Colin, and it showed.
What I heard, I don't want to get sued about this, but what I heard is that when Alex was real young, remember Mike Martz was the OC one year?
Yeah.
And he brought in JT O'Sullivan because JT had been on his had played for him in Detroit. And so he knew the system. Alex was young. JT was a little older, I think. And he said, JT, can you help me out? Like, I don't understand this stuff. And JT essentially said, you're on your own, buddy.
Wow.
Because from his perspective, it's like, I'm trying to take your job. It's like, well, and he did get a couple of starts and threw like a jillion picks and gave it right back. But sorry, JT, that's what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong. Allegedly. I'm going to use the word allegedly.
I heard it went something like this. Hey, man, could you help me out? And he's like, let's go.
For the record, I love his channel. He does a great job. He's super good. Sorry, JT.
He's the best. Yeah. He's the best. But yeah. Do you want answers? Not sharing.
Yeah, check out my Patreon. I'll check out my answers there.
It's behind the paywall.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome stuff. Okay, so we've hit Ricky. Okay, how about this offensive line? McKivitz had a really good game according to the PFF. Brendel didn't allow a pressure. Purdy regressing, Grant, or is this just kind of small sample size? He's not 100%. Seems like Colby and Purdy were kind of raked over the coals by the PFF people, where McKivitz, Trent, and Brendel were kind of celebrated this week.
I do think Purdy has regressed a little bit. I think they even said as much. Forrester came out and he's like, hey, it's not looking as great this year, right? Well, there's reasons. He's working on new techniques, and he said the same stuff. The league kind of caught up to him a little bit. But the way I look at it is that Colby played hurt. He had a groin injury. I asked I mean, he was awful. He was so bad that they wouldn't run to the left until midway through the third quarter. I don't know if you even noticed, but they didn't run to the left. And I think in retrospect, they were trying to protect him. I mean, they're trying to just get him through the game. So that
speaks volumes about the guys behind him.
Yeah. I asked Kyle about it, like, what do you think of his performance? He was like, I was so impressed. And it meant a lot to his teammates because he wasn't healthy. And God knows what they would have done at left guard if he hadn't played. So I'm going to give him some grace there. That wasn't the full Connor Colby. And I think there was a lot on the plate of the right side of the offensive line because every freaking run went over there. I bet the Cardinals realized it eventually. So it was a lot of work for Purdy and McKivitz. And eventually, Purdy broke down.
Connor Colby, by the way, allowed a team high 5 pressures. The Niners O-line as a group gave up 11, 5 from Colby, 2 from McKivitz, 2 from Purdy, 2 from Trent.
McKivitz has improved, though. I got to give him credit. He's gotten steadily better over the last 3 years. Shout out.
This was a big year for him until he signed his extension. But, I think he wants to put good film out there, no question about it.
They need a good left guard, though, man. You need to be running behind Trent Williams. You can't go away from Trent Williams. That's the point of attack. Yeah. You need to have that. Move Purdy over there if you need to.
I knew Colby was going to give it a go. When you see a guy's made 50 career college starts, you're like, no way that he not one time that guy didn't feel good. Not one time he had some ailment. It's like, dude, he just one of those guys that just plays. Now he may not play well.
Michael. But same with Michael. He's got a wrist injury. He's probably he injured 3 different things in the offseason. He kind of seems like the guy who's constantly a little hurt because he plays real tough physical run defense, but you won't talk about it. I love that. Love that.
He's
so not a diva.
He was just an absolute menace.
When
I saw him walk into the locker room and Bosa was already out, I thought, oh my God, this guy broke his wrist. They announced it was a wrist. Then he was going to the locker room. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to lose Bosa and Mikel in the first half of the home opener. And then he comes out in the second half and just wrecked shop. I mean, go watch that second half tape of Mikel. My God.
Did the defense fall off without Bosa? I mean, technically the pass rush numbers weren't as good, but did the Cardinals all of a sudden have an offense? Not really. They couldn't run the ball ever.
They may not be a good gauge because they've looked horrible offensively.
Yeah, their offense kind of sucks. And Marvin Harrison Jr., oh my God.
Dude.
Oh my God.
Do
the Cardinals win that game if he just catches the ball?
What do you have, 3 drops? I mean, they look bad. All right. We talked about PFF success stories, right? Highest graded guys were Mack, Trent, Pearsall, McKivitz. Brian Robinson had a nice run. It was good to see.
And then they never gave him the ball again. I love that. Jordan Mason used to get that treatment too. Get used to it, buddy.
Oh my gosh. Brian Robinson is going to be irate.
He might be good. We never know.
They got to get him the ball. Got to get him in rhythm. But then
I'd like to see, we've talked about this too, 2 running backs on the field at the same time, man. Juszczyk, as great as he is, I'd like to see some 2 tailback sets with Christian, in the slot or fit. Use your imagination, Kyle. Come on.
I mean, Walsh did it back in the day. He had Roger Craig and Wendell Tyler for almost an entire season, 2 halfbacks out there doing their thing. I think it can be really, really dangerous, especially since you got guys who are physical anyway. It's not like you got 2 scat backs. You got guys who are pretty physical. Brian Robinson could chip if you need him to chip on somebody. But the highest graded defenders were Huff, Warner, Winters, Bosa, and Lenore. How much of a I'll fully admit.
And Mikel, I don't know why they're not giving Mikel high grades. He's playing really well, but he hasn't really registered in PFF yet.
He's not a stats guy. He's a film guy. He's not going to make lots of tackles and he's not going to sack the quarterback tons, but he's going to still wreck shop. And that's what he's doing right now. I mean, I don't care if the guy never makes a tackle again and never sacks anybody again. I've seen enough, dude. This guy is a force. He is a real force.
He has the same impact that Prime Eric Armstead had on the defense. Armstead never really had a lot of sacks. I mean, he had sacks one year, but basically his impact was keeping Greenlaw clean and Warner clean and pushing the pocket. He was super important to the defense, and they were way worse when he was hurt. And I think we saw what the defense looked like without him last year, and now we see what Mikel does. I mean, it's really important.
It's rare to find that guy who's comfortable inside and outside. If you said Eric, can play inside and outside, he's better inside. And then with Mikel, he could play inside or outside. And I don't know which one he's better at because he's so dynamic as a rusher inside, but he is just absolutely crushes the tight end. I mean, you cannot put a tight end in front of that guy. I mean, he just is just going to ball him up in like a piece of wet, tissue paper and throw him. I mean, he's so violent, so physical. But
isn't that kind of cool, though? I mean, a lot of teams run outside zone to the tight end side. You have Michael Williams playing wide 9. You can't run that play to the strong side. Sorry.
Well, what I was going to say is that I was pounding the table. I'll the one thing with me is I give a lot of opinions. You do too. I absolutely admit when I'm wrong. When I'm wrong, I'll admit it and move on. And one of the things I was wrong about, and I've been wrong about a few things this year, but one of the things I was wrong about is that the Niners should have done everything in their power to re-sign Dre Greenlaw. Because Dre Greenlaw is now in the IR.
I didn't know D. Winters could do this.
I didn't know D. Winters could do this, and I didn't know Dre Greenlaw was this done. And Dre Greenlaw has not been able to even practice 3 or 4 days in a row. He's now on IR. His whole year and career, hanging by a thread. And Winters just is flying around, looking like Dre Greenlaw from 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So respect to the Niners, because I don't even know if they had conviction on that one. Like, they tried to get him at the last minute. They seemed conflicted. I understand it. He was a great player and he was a core member. And it's scary to think that D. Winters could do what he did. But so far, that was like the decision of the year.
No doubt. All right, it is time for our sleeper lineup. We probably should have done it earlier, but here we go. 49er Football on the Krug Show is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy, where you choose 2 to 8 players pregame or live and pick more or less on their projections. If you're new to it, use the promo code Larry. You'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. The link is right there in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, let's make our lineup here. Let's see. Who do we want to go with? We're going with the Thursday night game. We're going with the Monday night game, I should say. So we got Lions, Ravens. I don't know what you think tonight, Grant. I like the Ravens. I like the Ravens to kind of embarrass the Lions a little bit, but it might be closer than I think. But what kind of game? What do you expect to see tonight?
I feel like every time I expect the Ravens to win a marquee primetime game, they take a lead and they find a way to blow it in the fourth quarter. I talk about Kyle being the choker, but John Harbaugh makes Kyle Shanahan look like freaking Bill Walsh. John Harbaugh is nothing like his brother. Jim Harbaugh is the real deal. I don't know about this Ravens team. It'll be interesting, but this is the kind of game they lose. The one you expect them to win. Yeah. I'm not even that into the Lions, but there's something about them. The Ravens should win this game.
Let's see Derrick Henry. I see him scoring. Let's go anytime touchdown on Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So we'll go more than half a touchdown. There's one. We've won a bunch of these. You got one that you like? Any of these players?
How about Lamar Jackson?
Okay, let's see Lamar. 231 passing yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns, 45.5 rush yards.
How about rushing touchdowns? I don't think he's going to get one.
Okay, I like that. We'll go less than half a touchdown.
He's not going to get goal line opportunities. Yeah, I don't think so.
I agree. If this were later in the year, maybe, but early in the year, they're not going to put him in harm's way. No
I don't
way.
think so.
Derrick Henry for sure. All right, let's go to a Lion. How about Jameer? Jameer's been kind of the guy. Anytime touchdown for Jameer.
26 receiving yards? That seems low.
That does seem
do
low.
that.
Yeah, let's do that. I think he's got 56 receiving yards in him, something like that. I think he goes over. So there we go. More. Do you want to do one more? Let's do one more. Let's get greedy.
Let's get greedy.
Who's the bottom? Who's behind? Yeah, let's go Isaac Tesla. I want to see. Okay. Isaac Tesla is like a cult hero. 1.5 receptions or an anytime touchdown. Ooh, God.
How many catches did he have last week? He's only had one catch. He's had one catch a week.
Yeah,
One
he
a
doesn't
week.
get a lot of catches.
Okay, so this could be the game that he is 2.
Yeah. I think this is the game that he gets 2.
Yeah.
So let's go with that. Let's go more
let's go
than
there.
1.5 receptions on Isaac Tesla.
All
right, here we go. 4 for 4. Will win us $31.50. That's right. On a $5 bet, $31.50. Is that right? 5 makes us $31.30. $31.30. All right, I love it. Big thanks to Sleeper. Remember, use code Larry for 100% deposit match up to $100. Links right in the description below. Terms apply. Helps support the show and gets you rolling on the #1 sports app. All right, here is the big finish question for you, Grant. It took me a long time to come up with this one. So, I mean, don't criticize this question before we get to the supers. Who is more likely to be with the 49er organization for the 2026 season? Robert Saleh or Mac Jones?
I like this question.
It's intriguing on both sides because, like,
I think the answer is Mac Jones. I could see people thinking, the Niners could trade Mac Jones, and they could, but I think the Niners want to have a good backup for Brock, and I think they need to have a good backup for Brock because they don't really invest a ton in their offensive line and their quarterbacks get hurt. Saleh, now that Bosa's out, that's how he got the head coaching job the last time. Bosa went down in 2020. Everyone thought the Niners were screwed, but actually their defense held it together and ranked 5th in yards allowed without Bosa, and people decided that it was Saleh, not Bosa, who was making this defense good. So if he could do it again and put together an elite defense without Bosa, I think he might just get another look. And his real problem is that he would need to tell a team, look, I could bring a really good offensive coordinator with me. And they'd say, who's that? If he could say Mike McDaniel, maybe he might get something. Otherwise, you can't go with like Bobby Slowick. I don't know who he'd go with, but if he could get Mike McDaniel, it might work. So Saleh could be a one and done.
I think Gus Bradley might be here because Saleh's likely to be a one and done.
Sure.
And I think when they start looking at these other guys, Jesse Minter and some of these other coaches, Jeff Halfley and some of Shula's grandkid, and you start looking around at these other defensive coordinators, I think Robert Saleh is going to look good by comparison. He handled the New York media without really having real issues.
Yeah.
That's a tough media. I mean, once you've coached football in New York, you're proven on a level, even if you didn't win. So the other one that's interesting on that is that Mac Jones is making $7 million next year, I believe. And what would he get to start? I mean, and I don't know, but I mean, I also kind of think Mac has played now for New England at the end when they were bad and Jacksonville. I almost get the feeling that Mac Jones might prefer to stay as the number 2 to Brock Purdy if the Niners compensated him in some kind of way. Then, this guy played at Alabama, so he likes winning. And then he comes into the NFL and he's like, well, you're the guy, but your team suck. Now he's finally probably having fun. I bet he's having more fun this year than he's had in his entire NFL career. And if the Niners would pay him $10 million to be the backup, which it might be worth it to pay him $10 million if he's going to play as much as he is. Would he rather be a backup for $10 million or be a starter in Cleveland for 15? I don't know.
I think Mac wants to be here.
I think
he knows what can happen on bad teams with bad coordinators. And you could go to a team that looks like it's stable, like the Patriots, and all of a sudden in year 2 or year 3, you got Matt Patricia as your offensive coordinator. The nice thing about the Niners is that it looks right now like Kyle's going to be here for a while, has been here for a while, probably going to be here for a while unless something happens. And he's gone through quarterbacks. It could be Mac's turn soon. Brock's getting hurt. The offensive line isn't great. I mean, he could see like, you know what? I could be the next Brock Purdy. I think I'm better than Brock Purdy. He may not be better than Brock Purdy, but he thinks he's better than Brock Purdy. And he gets a chance to test that theory eventually. I think that's what he wants. What's it going to do? I mean, if he could go to like Minnesota, like Wentz and Darnold, yeah, that's a great situation. Go throw to Justin Jefferson all day. That's a great situation. But barring that, he might just want to stay here. Like, was he going to go to the Raiders? You know how that's going to turn out.
Well, exactly. And it's like, and then what's a better situation to be here where you might be able to win a Super Bowl and develop under Shanahan and in this great offense, and then maybe get to go somewhere better in the future, or go somewhere like the Raiders or some team that's just been down for a long time where they're just going to basically say, hey, lift us up. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I can see Daniel the Rams wanting Mac Jones once Stafford retires, and I'm not sure Stafford's going to play next year.
Exactly. He's 38 years old.
Yep.
3 supers, and we'll chat. I got one last major question for you because I didn't hear your post game. Jonas Smear Jonason says, would a trade for the likes of Carl Granderson work? Well, I think it absolutely would work. I mean, I think he's a free agent at the end of the year. I think the price tag is going to be like a 5th round pick, maybe a 4th, because you're the Niners. I think that if I were the Niners, I'd be willing to give up my 4th round pick for Carl Granderson. He's a proven edge rusher. He's not quite 270, but he knows how to do the job. I mean, I was impressed by Granderson last week. He looked good. Tommy Huxley, D-Rob, gonna eat. He's a man beater. Sounds like somebody just made a fantasy pickup. And Paul Glass says, Niners whiffed on missing Jordan Birch, #productive. That's the Oregon kid who's 280 pounds, defensive end. Yeah, he was a highly rated guy. He didn't do tons in college, but yeah, he looks good. Stephen Draper says, Trevis Gibson is a beast. Let him eat. He did have 7.5 sacks with the Bears in 2020 or 2021. So that's probably their best internal option. Grant, normally I do my post-game show and, maybe grab a little something to eat as I'm going back to the creek, and I usually will put you on and listen to your post-game. This week I got a phone call, then I got another phone call. Next thing I know, I'm already in freaking San Ramon. So I've yet to hear the post-game. What was your spiciest of spicy post-game takes? Did you have a spicy post-game take?
I was so in love with Mac Jones yesterday. I probably said that he was not only better than Brock Purdy, but my favorite player of all time. It's probably something like that. I really like the Mac Jones arc. And again, like, is he better than Brock? No. Is Brock Purdy's mobility such a differentiator? Yes. But again, like, we've seen Brock for a long time here. We've seen like 40 starts with Brock, and the interceptions are going up. The injuries are going up. The time to throw is going up. And I'm not sure that he's getting better. Mac, he might be getting better. I don't know what the hell he is. So it's just kind of interesting to learn something about a new quarterback in this system. But I guess that's my spiciest take. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty spicy. I mean, so you're not saying replace Mac with Purdy, but you're saying
I'm spicier after losses, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Your money after losses.
Thank you.
I need to tell people that we are brought to you on the Krug Show by Habbas Law. 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. They're a great company and fantastic attorneys. And when you're in trouble, you need fantastic attorneys. And the Habbas Law Group, they are absolutely amazing. Great guys. And they do incredible, my dad was an attorney. My brother's an attorney. My sister is an attorney. The difference between success and failure is a good attorney. So today's show on my end, sponsored by Habbas Law. Omar Habbas and his son Tarek are fantastic. If you need someone in your corner, call the firm. The insurance companies hope you don't. Habbas Law, they will fight to make it right. Visit them on the web at habbaslaw.com. 1-800-INJURED. Grant, I'll give you the final word. Niners go next week against Jacksonville. What's the story of the week going to be? What are we? Is JJ going to play? Is Purdy going to somehow miraculously get healthy because Mac looks good? What's the big story this week?
It's an Adrian Martinez week. I mean, Mac's hurt. Wow. Brock's coming back. I mean, I don't know who's going to play in this game, but I'm picking the Niners to win anyway because Trevor Lawrence just isn't good.
Liam Cohen, hit him in the chest. Hit him in the chest. And then,
yeah, Liam just realized what we all knew. It's not going to happen.
This is how I'll end the show. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you